Look, I'm about to tell you something that sounds completely backwards, something that will make you think I've lost my mind. But stick with me because what I'm about to reveal is why she's thinking about that guy at 2 odd a.m. and not you. And by the end of this video, you'll discover the one thing he did that you're probably too afraid to try. Most guys think they need to be constantly on her mind through texting, calling, or showing up everywhere she is. They think if they just stay visible enough, she'll eventually fall for them. But here's what actually happens. She starts seeing you as predictable, safe, forgettable, and the worst part, you become the guy she texts when she's bored, not the guy she stays up thinking about. Now, I'm about to show you something that sounds cruel, something that might make you uncomfortable, but I promise you, by minute 4 of this video, you'll understand why this cruel tactic is actually the most honest thing you can do, something that taps into a psychological trigger so powerful she won't even realize why she can't stop thinking about you. And here's the crazy part. The less you do, the more she'll obsess. I know that sounds impossible, but stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what makes a woman lose sleep over a man and how to become that man without playing games or being someone you're not. Because once you master this, you won't just be another guy in her phone. You'll be the one she can't get out of her head. This isn't theory. This is psychology, and it works even when logic says it shouldn't. But first, I need to show you the biggest mistake you're making, the one that's actually training her brain to forget about you, the mistake that's killing your chances and why it feels so right. Here's the scene. You meet a woman you really like. The chemistry feels real, so you do what feels natural. You text her good. Morning, you check in during the day. You make sure she knows you're interested. You're being consistent, right? You're showing effort, but then something strange happens. Her responses get shorter. Her energy drops. The spark you felt, it's fading, and you can't figure out why. Now here's where it gets dark, and this is the part most dating coaches won't tell you. Every time you text her first, you're actually teaching her brain that you're not valuable. I know that sounds harsh, but hear me out. Here's what's really happening. You're giving her emotional closure before she's even invested. Think about the last show you binged on Netflix. Why did you stay up until 3 or an a.m. watching episode after episode because each episode left you hanging? The uncertainty kept you hooked. But what happens when you finish the series? You move on. You forget about it. There's no more tension. That's exactly what you're doing with your attention. You're giving her the entire season at once. No cliffers, no mystery, no reason to wonder about you. And here's the part that's going to blow your mind. Stay with me because what I'm about to reveal in the next 60 seconds will change how you see attraction forever. Women are attracted to emotional momentum, not emotional satisfaction. When you're always available, always responsive, always predictable, you kill the momentum. You remove the very thing that makes her brain light up with curiosity. She's not thinking about you at night because she already knows exactly where you stand. She's got you figured out, and the human brain loses interest in puzzles it's already solved. But here's what you're really wondering. Is he seriously suggesting I ignore her? That can't work. Just wait. Because what I'm about to show you is not ignoring her. It's something far more powerful. And it's the exact technique that keeps you in her thoughts at 2 NJ 3 a.m. even, when she's with other people. So if constant availability kills attraction, what creates the kind of tension that keeps you in her thoughts? That's where the real game begins. The one thing that makes her brain obsess. Warning, this feels wrong. Before we dive deeper, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and drop a like if you're ready to level up your understanding of attraction because what's coming next, you won't find this anywhere else. Let's get into it. Here's the move that changes everything. And I'm warning you, your first reaction will be that's too risky, but I'm going to prove to you why it's not. Create emotional gaps, not games, not manipulation. Strategic absence that makes your presence more powerful. But here's the twist nobody talks about. And this is crucial. So pay attention. The gap has to hurt you too. If you're sitting at home staring at your phone, waiting for her to text, you've already lost. This only works if you're genuinely busy building something bigger than her attention. Here's how this works. Stop being the first one to text. When you do text, make your messages count. Say something that sparks emotion, curiosity, or laughter. Then exit the conversation while it's still good. Don't drag it out until it dies. Leave her wanting more. Now, here's where most guys mess this up, and if you get this wrong, you'll push her away forever. Think of it like a great song. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It ends while you still want to hit replay. Now here's where it gets deeper, and this is the part that separates boys from men. Become unpredictable in the best way. She texts you at 9:00 p.m. Don't respond until the next afternoon. Not because you're playing hard to get, but because you genuinely had something better to do. She suggests hanging out. Sometimes you're free, sometimes you're not. And when you're not, you're doing something interesting. But here's the secret ingredient nobody mentions. And without this, everything I just told you is useless. When you are with her, you need to be 100% present. No phone, no distractions, pure presence. Because here's what happens in her mind when you combine absence with intense presence. She starts filling in the gaps. Who is he with? What is he doing? Why isn't he as available as other guys? That curiosity, that's the seed that grows into obsession. And now I'm going to tell you something that sounds completely insane. You need to occasionally disagree with her. Wait, what? Isn't that relationship suicide? No. And I'll tell you exactly why in the next section. The disagreement paradox. This sounds crazy, but it works. Most guys are one-dimensional. They're always nice, always agreeable, always supportive. They think that's what women want. But here's the truth. Nobody tells you. And this might make you uncomfortable. Comfort doesn't create chemistry. Agreement doesn't create attraction. You need to be the guy who challenges her, who disagrees with her sometimes, who doesn't laugh at jokes that aren't funny just to be polite. Now, before you think I'm telling you to be a jerk, let me clarify. There's a difference between challenging her thoughts and disrespecting her when she says something and you genuinely disagree. Say so, but do it with curiosity, not criticism. Interesting take. I see it completely differently, though. This does something powerful. It shows you have a backbone. You have opinions. You're not a yes man desperate for approval. And here's what happens in her brain. She starts thinking about you more because you're the only guy who treats her like an equal, not a princess. Be warm, but not a pushover. Be interested, but not desperate. Be present, but not clingy. When you show range, when you show depth, you become fascinating. And fascination is what keeps someone up at night. But now comes the most powerful technique. And I'm warning you, this one is borderline manipulative if you use it wrong, so use it responsibly. The future ghost technique. Use this carefully. Here's another weapon that most men never discover. Shared secrets and unique experiences. Take her somewhere she's never been. Show her something she's never seen. Have conversations that go deeper than surface level. When you create memories that only exist between the two of you, you become impossible to replace. She might forget the guy who took her to dinner, but she'll never forget the guy who took her stargazing at 2 a.m. and talked about dreams and fears. But here's where it gets really powerful. And this is what I call the future ghost technique. You plant yourself in her future without committing to specific plans. We should check out that new place when it opens. You'd love this hiking trail. I know. We'll go when the weather's perfect. There's this book you need to read. I'll lend it to you next time. Notice something. You're creating future scenarios, but they're vague. They're possibilities, not promises. This plants you in her future without pressure, and her brain will keep returning to those possibilities when she's alone. She'll be lying in bed thinking, when is he going to take me to that place? Did he forget? Should I bring it up? And just like that, you're in her head at 2 a.m. But here's the critical part, and if you miss this, the whole thing backfires. You can't do this with every conversation. It has to be rare, special, unexpected. Now here's the timeline that most guys get completely wrong, and getting this wrong will ruin everything. The timing that makes or breaks everything. When you pull back strategically, give it time. Real time, not 2 days, not a week. Give her 2 to 4 weeks to actually feel your absence. Wait, 2 to 4 weeks? Are you insane? She'll forget about me. That's what you're thinking right now, isn't it? But here's the truth. If she forgets about you in 2 weeks, she was never interested to begin with, and you need to accept that. But if there was real chemistry, if you created real memories, she won't forget. She'll wonder during that time. Level up, hit the gym harder, learn something new, expand your social circle, post moments that show growth. And here's the psychological trick that makes this work. When you come back into her world, you're not the same guy who left. You're better, more centered, more attractive. She sees your transformation and thinks, did I miss my chance with him? And that transformation, that's what makes her realize what she almost lost. But here's what you're probably wondering. What if I do all this and she still doesn't care? Then you have your answer. And you saved yourself months, maybe years, of chasing someone who was never going to choose you. The bigger picture, why this changes everything. Listen, this isn't about making her chase you for your ego. It's about understanding that attraction isn't logical. It's psychological. And the psychology is clear. People value what they have to work for. They obsess over what they can't fully have. They think about what's uncertain. When you master this, you're not just getting one woman to think about you. You're becoming the type of man that naturally creates attraction wherever you go because you're not seeking validation. You're not desperate for approval. You're building a life so compelling that people naturally want to be part of it. And that's when everything changes. But here's my final warning, and this is important. Don't use these techniques to manipulate someone into loving you. Use them to filter out people who aren't genuinely interested. Use them to become a more attractive, more confident version of yourself. Use them to stop wasting time on people who don't value you. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't to trick someone into thinking about you, it's to become someone worth thinking about. If this resonated with you, drop a comment with the word obsession so I know you're serious about this journey. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because this is just the beginning of understanding female psychology at a level most